Don't mess around.
With the mess around. This your girl, Miss Rocks.
And Universe Dragon. As you guys can see, we've made some changes and we've added some new seats. And with that being said, we have two people with us today.
Yes.
To the left, we got
Zully here.
And now Blanco.
Hey.
Thank
All right.
you for having us.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem. Thank you guys for being here, joining the conversation on this Friday night. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off. So first off, let's talk. Happy Friday. How's everybody's week been?
Happy Friday. That's right.
It's been good.
It's been going.
Good, man. I will say my week has been crazy, but I am definitely happy that it's Friday and that we're kicking off the weekend. I know some people work on the weekend. If you do work on the weekend, make it the best work weekend you possibly can. And if you don't work on the weekend, please kick back and stay in your pajamas as long as you possibly can, unless you got stuff to do. Go get your chores done. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you got errands to run your errands. But if not, stay in your pajamas. Enjoy a day, kick back. You can do that on Universe Dragon. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody ask you why you didn't tell them Universe Dragon told you to stay in your pajamas so you can kick back and enjoy yourself. But what about you guys? Any big plans for the weekend? Anybody got anything going on? Anything exciting?
Just in here, and I gotta say this: it's Gemini season starting tonight.
The Gemini season.
Gemini season has arrived.
Yes. Hate.
People love to hate, but they love it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So be careful because you're talking to two people. That means it's four. Right?
Yes.
You're a Gemini too.
Oh,
he's a Gemini too.
There may be 4 chairs, but there is 7 people up here according to my calculations.
Right. Beware.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to be on my good side or my bad side? Let me know.
Exactly. We're observing.
Yes, exactly.
I completely understand. But as a fire sign, it might just be 8 people up here. No, just because. I mean, there's the other side.
You're a fire sign?
To me as well. Yeah. I'm a fire sign.
Oh, we win.
We put you out. We're air.
No,
air, baby. We
just remember what
Yes,
happens to fire. So with fire, when oxygen hits fire, it allows it to grow larger and stronger. This is why you have to smother. This is why you have to smother a fire instead of blowing it.
Only
Now
in
we're
controlled
3
environments
people.
does oxygen make fire grow. Only in controlled environment. Only.
Mm-hmm.
Only.
And you know that
Or it's
already
over
happened.
And this
Or
is
it's
how
over
we
with for
turn
fire.
off the fire. We beat you.
Oh no.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's
You
definitely
can't
more
be
you
a
guys
Gemini.
than me.
Not in
There's definitely more you
conversation
guys
and
than
not.
me. I 100%. I agree. But and just kind of going off of that, with us, just everybody in their different signs and other things like that allows us to kind of think differently and kind of have kind of our own traits that we have. My question is, with everything going AI, which is going to be one of the topics I'm about to bring up right now, how do you think that's going to hold up to us? Do you believe AI will ever have something like that, like a trait based on the system it was made in, or when that's, because us being born in a certain part of the year allows us to kind of take on certain traits of a sign that we're attached to. But what about AI? Since it's so adjacent to human, but the ideal is that they wanted to think at the level of us or surpass us, which pretty much it already has. What do you guys think that's going? What do you think AI?
First of all, what is AI? For people that don't know, because people
For
might
anybody
hear this
who
and be
does
like,
not
"What is
know,
AI?"
AI is artificial intelligence. So that is intelligence that is not, it's not like us, not grown. Like it's not the intelligence that is like within an animal, even plants, to that extent. They're kind of living, like, but AI is
Yeah.
artificial. It's artificial intelligence. So that's all. It's all made. Now at its core, with the way AI is now, it's pretty much growing its own self. Once we take those reins off, now I know there's only so many stipulations we can have, but if we remove too much from it, then it grows on its own. What they've been doing with ChatGPT is allowing it to grow on its own, versus controlling it, like only giving. Now they supposedly there's stipulations, but people have consistently debunked a lot of those stipulations, showing that it kind of does what it wants to do when it, as it's growing on its own, it's saying and doing things mimicking
You keep
humans.
saying growing
but it's still
on
fat.
its own. What you mean? I really don't know much about AI.
Yeah,
I know
so
it's a kind of like a robot.
yes,
It-
and so it's a system. It's a system where basically it's been feeding data. So every time a person, it's a system that's linked into the internet, able to pull data from all over the place, all over the world.
Okay.
And so if you ask a question like Google, like, I have a lot of Googles or Alexa and Siri that's when you're watching things like that. So think of it like
Mhm.
that. Like it's one of those, but it's so much more advanced because they've allowed it to just kind of grip its reins in everything and allowed it to
Hey,
grow in a different
we
way
in the
than these
future.
other ones, where they're just kind of giving it so much information,
Mhm.
a pool of information to get from. In this one, it's like a stream where it's allowing more and more information to continue to flow in and allowing it to think on its own. So it's a little bit different than just like your Google Home and your you know Siri and things like
Mhm.
that, but similar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we
honestly,
in the future.
when I heard about the AI, I thought about the actual movie, Artificial Intelligence, and it was a little scary, because in that one, like, it was a
Yeah,
little scary. But I learned
What
about it
movie is
because I
this?
was having artificial
artificial intelligence. This is
intelligence.
this is a very good movie.
It's
Mhm.
Okay.
with like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a crazy movie. So I thought about that. I thought about the robot and like it going crazy
Okay.
or having its own feelings and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a little scary,
Hmm.
because we've been growing up seeing these movies where they go against us
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So I'm just a little scared, but I got introduced to it because I'm in school and I was having trouble with this one essay with art because I don't really care about art.
Mhm.
And my husband told me like try AI. And I told it like write about this art piece in 500 words as a college student. And it just literally in 30 seconds, it wrote the whole
The whole
essay.
thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
And I was like, wow. So I
Wow.
took some stuff from there and I'm like, okay,
Exactly, because
like,
you won't
you
take the
know?
whole thing, but it gives you ideas. Like you're able to pull maybe a paragraph out
Yeah.
of there, maybe reword it. Like, it gives
Hmm.
you some ideas. Because when you go blank, it's literally able to fill in those blanks for you. So it is phenomenal in that sense. It really is.
Yeah, and how fast it does it.
It,
Literally in
I'm
less
talking
than
about
30 seconds, it wrote
less than a minute, you'll
everything.
have
Wow.
everything. It can write code in less than a minute for you. You can
That
say
is crazy to
write the
me.
code. Like I want to code a new computer. I want to do. You can talk about the exact code that you're wanting to do. It will write that code for you and tell you step by step on how to
Mhm.
implement that code into a computer or whatever. It literally is. And this is and we in Chat GP3 is what we've been having. Chat GP Chat, I believe 4 is out right
GPT.
now.
Four
Yeah,
is out
Chat
right now.
4
Four
is
is
what's
out
out
right
right
now.
now because they've already it's already leveled up. Before supposedly will, I think, do a
Yeah.
little bit more. I think they're gonna have voice
Yes.
added or something like that. So
Wow.
being able to have voice. So like think about your words changing into a voice. Um, one of the things I would do is I would have, let's say I told Chat GPT, you know, um, write me a short story. And then I take that short story and then I put that short story and another AI that generates language, like speaks. So now I've had ChatGPT write it for me, and then I have another AI read it for me, and then all I have to do is take that and I can upload and have content. All I'm saying is when you're talking about what you can do with AI, it makes things so much faster, so much smoother if you're talking about what it can implement. Because then you only have to make a few changes, you know, if it doesn't, because it doesn't always land it. I
So
would
you're
say
letting
that.
the robot control you.
Well, no, you're using the robot as a tool. See, the robot only controls you if you're the one making the actions that the robot told you to do. So in this case, you're telling the robot
Because people could be
to do
like,
it.
hey, I don't know what to tell him.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, now in that case, yes. So
You're gonna be falling in love with the AI.
Well, and that could be, now don't get me wrong.
Can you
that
be
could
romantic?
Actually, I just read a blog about someone who created these glasses, and it's supposed to help with
Yeah.
like dates and like job interviews, and it'll tell you what to say in like one of your eyes. Like it's
No.
ChatGPT,
Uh-huh.
and it was crazy. Like you can take that and have a date, so you're not like stuck. I just think
Oh
it's
my
so
God.
crazy.
If it's quiet, it'll probably be like, "Hey, say something funny" or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and
exactly.
like I
It's
saw it. Yeah.
literally
And then
kosher
you get hooked on that,
through this.
and then you don't even know what to say. People are like, "What's wrong with you?"
Exactly. So what happens? And that's what I'm saying. Like, so let's say mid-date. Let's say the first part
You
of your
love this
date.
dirty little secret.
say the first part of your date, you have
That's
literally
crazy.
been just nailing it. Like she's completely just over the moon, or he's completely over the moon about what you said, and then out of nowhere those glasses break, or the battery dies.
Oh no.
You know, so what happens for the last half of that date?
It's
And
gonna
you
be like,
nailed it
I
so
thought you was
good on the first one.
romantic.
Yeah, like you were doing so good with it. It started off well, and now
You don't
so
break bones.
I would definitely say to anyone
Trust
using,
issues.
you know,
For sure.
I feel like with AI, everyone's gonna have trust issues. Like, did you write this?
Oh,
Did you do
yeah.
this? Like, is this yours? Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, if I'm doing it, it's gonna be authentic. I tell you right now, if I wrote it to you,
Well, no
it's
more
me.
essay
You know what I'm saying? Like,
from school.
I mean, but yeah. So, well, and kids, they're able to run these through a system that also can tell you if it was written by AI. But they're trying to debunk. Well, they're having issues with that because some people are saying that that's not the case. People who are showing their notes and that they wrote it, but AI is still saying, "Yeah, I wrote that." You know, like, so kids are getting in trouble. That was a whole thing in a school. I just saw that on the news the other day. They're appealing this thing that these kids were like all getting, you know, Fs or whatever. They give them no credit for it because they said AI wrote it, even though they spent all that time to write it.
But
And
that's
the teacher
cool. I
was
could be
just
sleeping
freaking
and be
out.
like, AI, I need an essay, and it's already done. That's it.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
move.
mean, you still want to write it yourself. A lot of times it doesn't sound as human as we do. It really doesn't. Like I think as
Her
it gets
face changed
stronger,
so
Like
quick.
A. I'm like,
I don't think
Yeah.
it'll do everything.
I was told to do my essays like that, but like I asked a question in a
Yeah.
different way, in like less words or more words, and it would come up with the same thing. So I think that's how people are getting caught. Like, but speaking to my therapist about it, she said that you can tell it, but make sure it's not trackable or not, you know, whatever they're doing, and it'll
Mhm.
do it to where like
Exactly.
whoever's trying to find out if you did it or not, they won't know. I just
And
think it's
there's a
all
way
crazy.
there's a way around that. To my knowledge, like the way around it is like Grammarly and other things like this. So like a lot of times
Mhm.
they have it get written. And then there's also something called rewrite. So you can put something in that's already written and then you can have and put it in a system called rewrite. It will rewrite it for you. Everything that was written, it would just basically rewrite that entire thing that was written in a better way. And you can throw it in Grammarly, which will then correct all grammar and everything like that. And then you have everything that you need, literally, and you still technically had AI right. I'm just saying, like, I'm not telling you how to do it, but I'm telling you,
Oh, no.
like,
So you're gonna be
there is
using
a way.
AI?
I've used AI for a lot of different things. I mean, but I don't have any, you know, everything that I'm using AI for is, you know, personal use and content use and other things like that.
Let me find out your rap be coming from AI.
Oh no, definitely. Like I asked AI one time to write. Now I wasn't going to use the rap, but I wanted to see if it could rap. And I asked it to write a rap. I was like, write a song, you know, like just wanted to, you know, because I write music all the time. So I'm like, let's see, that song sounds so. It didn't even sound. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was some lines in there that sounded nice. I'm like, that's nice, but then the line after wouldn't make any sense to the compare it to the other line. You know, it just I wouldn't write a song like that. You know, see, like so when it was written, I'm like, you know, this is not bad for a rap, but I wouldn't write this, you know, like so I could automatically just even if those words would have come out of my mouth, you would know they're not mine. Just in the way that I write, and you know, the way typically you can tell like a writer, whether they're a book writer or a singer or a poet, like you can kind of see like how they write and how they like their flow is. So for me, like even reading or write or singing a song that someone else written, which I've never done, or I would do. I mean, I've never done that before, you know. So like, so yeah, it's just odd, but this help. Say I go blank, I'm like, just needing a few lines on here, and I'm like, maybe I need. And if you're specific, you can ask it to, hey, give me something around this to kind of give me an idea, a spark, and I'm like, oh, that gave me an idea. So then it allows me to get my creative juices flowing again, and I'm back to writing. It gave me one idea that allowed me to continue where I was going. So that's what I think is. It's more of a tool and assist.
When you say that
Very
you
cool.
use,
So I'm gonna ask AI
I'm sorry.
to do the podcast for me. I feel like talking.
I mean, I don't
AI,
think it can
speak
do
to
that
me.
just yet.
Speak
No,
for me.
I don't think you can do that just yet.
Hey, say the weather for me.
Yeah.
Say the weather for me in Spanish.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it probably would. No, I mean, if you told it what weather you wanted it to say.
Yeah.
Because AI is artificial intelligence that is going to be what's the future for everything really.
Yeah.
It's gonna make things move like computers made everything move so fast. Cell phones even sped it up even more. Having the ability to have a computer in our hands right now, everything is fast as lightning. So what that's gonna do is gonna put us on a whole another level, another scale. It's gonna replace human capital because human capital is expensive and it's a liability. And for corporations, they don't care about life or don't care about people because they exist for shareholders. It's in their corporate policies, it's in their indentures, it's in everything. They have a fiduciary relationship and a fiduciary responsibility to investors because it's the monetary system by which everything is controlled. So you got to think of AI like the government, right? When you elected the government, right? You say, oh, y'all gonna be my government, y'all gonna be Congress and Senate, and every decision they make, whether we like it or not, it's out of control. It's doing that right there. AI, you have to have parameters around it, and eventually, even AI, right? Eventually, they know it. They already said it. It's gonna get to a point one day to where if you're not as savvy as the times you live in, you're just gonna get left by the wayside. So you're gonna have to always be ahead of knowing what AI is capable of doing and how they're gonna apply it in different ways, and you make sure that you use it for your purpose to make sure it in a means to preserve and protect your interests. So I look at it for what it really is. It's technology that will always be used by those who have power to maintain a status quo and retain power.
Yeah.
Well,
And to remain powerful
like
is to know.
Yeah.
It's all it's about knowledge of. So yeah. So to everybody listening, continue to learn AI. Like continue to, do your research, understand it. So that way, you're able to use it because I'm telling you, like it's one of the best tools you can have in your belt right now for almost anything in this very technical world. But yeah, I mean, but with that, go ahead.
I heard you say you use it for personal reasons, and like I cannot think other than school, like what I would use. Like I want to use that, just I can't think of what else I would do. Like what am I gonna tell it? Like other than like, hey, help me about this essay or this. Like I wouldn't know. Like what do you mean you use it? For your personal reasons if it's not too personal. Like because I wouldn't know how to use it.
No, just think.
Damn.
think of,
I don't know
think,
what you're asking
personal
it,
is this?
No,
What?
but again, think about anything. And as I was talking about earlier, like it can write code, it can write script. So let's say you wanted to do a skit right now. Like say I wanted to film a little skit somewhere, and then you can ask the AI to give you a skit. I want a funny skit around teddy bears and rainbows, and then it would write you a very funny skit around teddy bears and rainbows. Let's say you don't keep that skit, but it gives you very good ideas to write kind of the rest of the skit out, and now you have a whole skit about teddy bears and rainbows, and and you have this in 30 seconds. Versus sitting here for the next couple of hours trying to make sure this sounds really good and thinking of so you just cut those 2 hours down into 30 seconds. And then let's say you put another 15 minutes on it because you're fine tuning a few things, but now you have this short skit around teddy bears and rainbows. So, and that's just one thing. And I mean like as content creator, that's one way to use it. Or if you're like, let's say you like poetry and you want to hear something new, you can ask AI to just get some poetry, and it will tell you, it will write poetry for you, and it'll allow you to read some poetry if you wanted to, you know,
Okay.
like, or read you something else, or you can ask it to tell you something or recite something for you. So you can use it. Think of like Google, your Google Home or your Siri or anything like that, and you're like, hey,
Just
what's the
asking it.
fastest way to do X, Y, and Z? Like, it does those exact same things plus more, just more
Okay.
advanced. So that's what I meant by personal use. Like, you can ask it the same thing you would ask Google, but you may be able to get a little bit more in-depth answers and other things like that from it as well. Plus, it's
I
just,
see.
yeah, it's just got
I
more
got
arms. It can do more.
I got something to add to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Zully, so I don't work for anybody. I haven't worked for anybody for years. I don't care about money. I don't look at money that way. It's an absolute necessity if you live in a city. So I live in the country, right? So I can be free. You know what I'm saying? Money is just easy to make because of where we at this point in time in your existence. At this point in time, it's the easiest thing to make because in this point in time, we moved into what they call the new age of intellect, or they call it the new age of information. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're in. We're in the age of Aquarius, right? So because of that, knowledge is always what's been power, right? But at this point in time now, knowledge is so available, and it's available at 1,000 to 200,000, and sometimes 1,000,000 times faster than you can think. But now you got even more access. When they gave us a phone, when we had search engines on it, we stopped having to worry about anything. We was always able to just go YouTube real quick, learn how to do something real quick, and get it out the way. So we became real quick and real efficient, right? But now you're about to be unstoppable if you really understand what you can do with it. So I'm gonna give you a case in point. When it comes to me, because I made it my own interest to learn what do they mean when they use legal terminology? What do they mean when they use this corporate terminology? How come all these words are different? You gotta, when you're talking about this, you gotta go here and look in Wikipedia, or you have to go over here and look in Investopedia for this, or you have to go over here and look in Westlaw Dictionary or Black's Law Dictionary and things like that, right? Now, even if you go do that now, I guarantee you still won't comprehend what you're reading because they codify it so much, right? Now, you can literally get on you can go to Google and go to Google Scholar. You can literally pull up a court case, right? And I'm finna tell you this for a real strong purpose, right?
Okay.
You can pull up a court case. You can say, okay, this guy went to prison. They prosecuted him. Everything that we heard from the defense attorney, from all these organizations, to even international groups saying these people are doing him wrong, he shouldn't go to prison, blah 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 blah, right? And then you can go actually pull a court case, and you can tell, well, this is if they indexed it. Everything has index, right? So I think a lot of things have been indexed into AI, GPT.
ChatGPT.
Chat
Yeah,
GPT.
ChatGPT 3 up to 2021. But let's say, for instance, you don't understand that, right? So now you can take that case. If you want to sit there and type it in, because they give you the case, you can type it in. It'll be the whole summary and everything, and say, explain to me how was he convicted, or explain to me how did they conclude, right? And it'll sit there and now take that, which you would never understand because you don't understand enough foundational stuff to understand it, and it'll break it down for you, because it can go, you can say, well, utilize the legal lease language, right? Or key in on the legal lease language, and explain that, or whatever. So now in this day and time, right, you're saying you couldn't think of nothing but use it for school, right? So, when it comes to me, the reason I can help people and the reason I can find solutions is because I know how to research, right? And I've been doing it the old school way, because I get on Google Scholar, I get on some free sites where you can get access for just 24 hours and things like that, and get access when I really would just be dangerous if you gave me access to LexisNexis, the stuff that the attorneys use and the state uses and the federal government use, Westlaw. They use those tools. That's how come they're hard to beat. But I've beaten states with just Google Scholar. You know what I mean? Because I sit there and spend 8, 9, 10 hours, take them 15 minutes to do. Now, so in this day and time, right, you may run across someone who has a nonprofit organization. There are so many people have LLCs. They don't know nothing about no business for real. They just went and filed an LLC and filed it with the state, and they think they're doing business. You have so many people, nonprofit organizations don't know anything about how to get funding, right? All you have to do now is go on your own. You can go on your own, do some research, find out that this nonprofit organization has been here for years and they haven't really done much. You go find out what their mission statement is, their vision statement, and what they exist for. You can go find some grants out there by going and finding out these organizations that actually give grants for that, and then you can actually apply for a grant using that information, and then tell them, hey, I have a grant for you guys to get. If I can get this grant for you guys, I need my 15% of it. It could be $1 million grant, and you'll get it. Because they need the funds and they're going to get it based on their status, but you put it together. Yeah. See, if I want to go out here and create money for myself, I would just go out here and start finding companies, small companies, just like I was telling people when I first got to Horizon. You're in here, you're making all these relationships. We're direct marketing to each other. We're vouchers. We're validators for each other, right? We're in here, right? So I was telling them, go out, find small companies that need to have an internet presence, because if they are operating as a true company, that's what would be an expense, a business expense, to expand the company and put it in another area, right? And it's way cheaper than if they was trying to do billboards or radio ads or television spots, right? Very much cheaper. So you can go out here and get a company and bring them in here and give them a presence, build them a world and whatnot, and make about $5,000-$10,000, because that's nothing to them. And you can just sit there and do that the whole time, right? So that's what AI is going to allow you to do. Because if you just decided one day, I went to school for just to get up every day and go to work and go through that traffic and then be dealing with this and dealing with that, yeah, you don't even need to do any of that. Technology is here now. And so all these corporations are buying the application and getting them to design the application around their services, so that they can get rid of all their workforce if possible, and they can move 10 times as faster and get so much more done, and without incurring additional costs, which means the profit margin goes back to the roof, because you don't have an overhead anymore, and you don't have all these expenses that it takes to maintain that level of production or that level of maintenance or whatever it may be. So that's how. Just being creative. You're back to being creative now. It's all in your mind in terms of what you see and what you're interested in. Because even if you don't even understand, how to do it, you can say, well, I want to get into this. And I want to be able to utilize AI to do anything, create, whatever. It'll tell you that too. It'll tell you how to utilize it. If you just got to be creative about it. Yeah. Just thinking 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, even up to 1,000,000 times faster than we are. And that's what makes it so valuable. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna hog up the mic. I'm not gonna hog up the
bill. Yeah, it really
Facts.
is. It really
is.
That's why I tell everybody, get on AI. Really do. But yeah, again, I know we could talk all day about that, but I know when it comes down to this space and everything like that, because I know this is another space that they're trying to, but that's a whole nother story. AI and within the metaverse and other things like that. So we'll see the implications, what that looks like in the future, and we can talk about that on a future date as we cross that road. But I want to know, like, we're all in this space. We all love this space. We cherish it. You know what I'm saying? We see this as our second home, because I know everybody sitting up here spends just about as much time, if not more, time in this space, that I do. And so a lot of us want our loved ones and friends and other things like that to come in here. So my question to everybody up here is, what are we doing to get our people in? Like, what are you, like, y'all have a way of getting your people in? Do you, have you shown it? Have you talked about it? Like, let's talk about it.
I definitely have shared my experience with my mom, my husband, and I've shared the Oculus to them, and I'm like, hey, look, like, you can do this, you can do that. And they all think I'm so crazy. They make fun of me when they found out that I was in the Meta News, and it was like, all that. They think it's so funny, and they think I'm crazy, and they're like, and it makes me feel bad. I'm like, yeah, like, you guys don't understand. Like, I'm really going in there and meeting these people from all over USA, you know, or wherever, you know, and like to me, the meta news is like an opportunity for me with my communication skills, with, you know, even meta itself, with, you know, new people. And I've been trying so hard to get people in and look at it, but they all think I'm crazy. And like, I'm not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys really need to see it. I did bring my son in. I told him he's not allowed to be in it without me, but I brought him in and I showed him a couple things and we were having so much fun, you know, but he's young and he's used to all this like digital stuff and all that. But when it comes to my friends and family, even my best friend, like whenever she calls me and I'm like playing spades and I'm like, I got 3 books, she's like laughing, you know, because she hears other people and they just think it's so funny and it kind of hurts. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is the future. Like,
And
I don't
it's,
know.
I mean, it is, I will say that it's crazy, you know, that part right there. It is crazy because it is hard. Like, I mean, when I talk about it at work, people, you know, I can see them smirking or laughing and things like that. When I go, you know, go out or talk to because I've talked to my brother, my family, my sister just recently had a wedding. So I was talking to a lot of my family who was down here about the metaverse and stuff like that. They, of course, they all looked at me like I'm crazy. Like, what do you, like VR, like virtual reality? I'm like, yeah, the headset. They're like, oh, you know, like,
Yeah.
okay, that's kind of odd. I'm like, you know, I mean, it sounds odd. I showed you. I promise you it would change your. So one of the big things for me is like getting like what breaks that barrier, like because you have the people with their disbelief. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. One of the things I love to do is like plaster it, like if I have people coming over, putting it on the TV, like you know, I cast it to the TV, make sure it's on my biggest screen in the house. Everyone got to see it if they want to or not, doesn't matter, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey guys, by the way, I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. And they're like, oh, you know, like, don't tell me it's a metaverse stuff. Yep, it most definitely is. Like, and I'll put it on the big TV and I'm gonna show everybody, like, okay, so let me show y'all something really cool real quick. And they're like, you know, and typically when I do that, at least one, if not more than one person out of that group of people who were talking about the metaverse, this and that, I'll show them one cool thing and they're like, oh, so you can do that in there? Like, yeah, you know, see, like you can do this in here. You know, like if they like sports, bring them in Horizon, go to one of the NBA games and put that on the TV and show them see courtside. They'll be like, what? Oh, you can do that? Like, yes, you can do that. UFC, you could sit there next to UFC, sit courtside. If they like sports, if sports is what, but if they like games or shooting and other things like this, or even if they play, because most people they don't believe in the VR, but they'll still game on either a PC or they'll play the PlayStation or the Xbox or whatever, because they're used to those consoles. Which I'm a PlayStation. I've been playing PlayStation most of my. I love PlayStation, but when I got this, you know, by all means, this is a whole different aspect, especially for the social end of it as well as games. So it's like a good mix of both. But yeah, I mean, that's just me. Like that's one of the things I do. But what about y'all? Like, what do y'all do to try to get your people in?
Well, oh, you wanna go first?
No.
Okay. Well, at first, I was trying to get people in Horizon collectively to look at the numbers of the performance, right? Because that was threatening our, continued existence in here. But then I calmed down real quick because I know they always got to trick up their sleeves because all the money that's been invested. You know what I mean? All the money that's being dumped into um, um, Meta, period. And just by them getting rid of alt space or letting alt space go, they're really focusing on for the main for all the reasons why we're so interpersonal over here. I just had to come down and look at it from a different standpoint. So I'm no longer looking at it from a personal standpoint because the constraints is with most people, especially where I'm at. I'm around places where it's the economy sucks. You know what I'm saying, for people, they're not savvy. They're one generation away from sharecroppers, and then when the computer age hit, they were still still trying to they still out there trying to work on cars that are obsolete now. You know what I'm saying? But still, that's what they that's it's kind of like hard when you're in them type of environments. Then when you look at the other environments that I would be more or less I would have direct access to, um, they're so stuck trying to make money because they're already indoctrinated and they're already been brainwashed to think that your only way out is money, right? So they're not looking at this. They're here hustling and doing whatever it takes. So what do? Well, everything you do, no matter what it is that you do, if you're not doing it with the doing it in the context of business, you really kind of at this day and time, you're playing behind the eight ball, you're behind everybody. So what do? It's the government's interest to get everybody into the next wave of technology, right? Okay. So when the governments get ready to do it, they're gonna probably give out government sponsored, you know, headsets, you know, and they're gonna have certain type of capabilities, but it's gonna be totally trackable, gonna be eavesdropping on. They'll have access because the government will always do that. They always give you cell phones. When the time came and everybody needed cell phones, the government gave them out. So we know that's coming. Ahead of the eight ball, what can you do? Well, the government got corporate funding for corporations to do what it needs to be done. So who did that first? ML Son. He started a nonprofit organization, right? And they're teaching children to get who don't have access to technology, who don't have that kind of money, to come there and get familiar with this headset and start learning how to prepare to do business and how to prepare to learn about the blockchain and everything they will need to know. So, hey, start a nonprofit organization, skill it out, get your funding for 5-10 years at a time, because we're on the cusp of it gonna be hitting in 5 years from now, and then another 10 years. So you can do that, and then guess what you're doing? You're bringing people into an organization where you got a facility, where you got whatever you got, all the units you get are either donated or some foundation is paying for it all, because it serves the interest to, and you can end up having 200, 500 people in your program, as long as you got federal funds for it, and get them acclimated and whatnot, and you have the equipment, and then through a nonprofit, so you don't have to have investment money. Only thing you have to know how to do is have enough, like I said, enough money, enough people to get together just to structure the business. You may pay a little money for some attorneys if you don't know how to do it yourself, but you got AI now, you don't need attorneys. Don't even need attorneys now. For stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? For stuff like that. But that's how you can do it. And you can start organizations and just bring in tons of people through that organization. Because now they ain't got to buy it. And all they do is be a part of this organization. All they got to do is be a part of the committee, take on a role, which is almost the same thing they're doing with Discords.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I like, 100%. Like, I like that. Like, again, any ways to get more people in this space is ideal. And finding different ways to get our people we know, and just more people in general here is great. That's what we're looking to do. 100% just um, rolling it out to anybody I talk to. If I'll tell them about something I built, I'll tell them about a creation, I'll tell them my ability to do something. Even the company I'm working for right now, I've told them, I'm trying to, so I've set up I've got a meeting with them at the end of the month, where I'm going to show them it's kind of an example world of what I can build for that type of company. To let them know, like, this, there is a way to put you in this space, and with the kind of work that I do, there's a lot of value in this space. People with disabilities, people with a lot of medical issues and other things like that, is people I deal with within my field. So it's to have a space to where people can feel safe, because a lot of these people who I deal with, in my field, don't like going out in the public anyway and stuff like that. They all feel very self-conscious. So this would be a place that they can really get to express themselves and things like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, at first I was seen crazy for, telling them what I do here. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And I would stay talking about it, and I stayed. And they're like, no, I'm not getting the headset. That was my sister. Even on social media, like with my main account, people will be like, what is that? And you will see like only 5 likes, because nobody really understands. But the way, things are going with the Instagram and the AL, you think I care right now? They're going to see more.
Yes. Yeah.
They're going to see what
I
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like just making it known. And I feel like that's the thing. I keep telling people, it's not a if they will come, it's when they will come. Because even the people right now who don't believe in it, by the time their eyes are open, they're gonna be like, "Dang, you've been here this whole time," and be like, "Yep, hey, I've been here." The thing that I was telling you about 3 years ago when you were just looking at me like I was crazy. So now the thing that you're standing in, I help build that foundation. All the builders, all the creators in here, we help create the foundation that everyone else who don't believe us now will be standing on. And that's the crazy part about it. Like if you look into the future, we're the building blocks to that. We're the building blocks to the things that they're going to be standing on when they get here.
Let me share something with you that most people don't pay attention to. Okay. Whenever they want to sell you with a concept, right? They'll put all this marketing money into showing you how they made all this money, right? How they made all this money. And people don't know before you can be considered an expert or before society, through their standards, consider you an expert in any field. They want to know that you put at least 10,000 hours into it. 10,000 hours into a topic, because it takes so many experiences and nuances and associations with like banks or whatever, taxes, all this, because you're not really gonna make money if you're a taxable entity and you don't know how to protect yourself against the tax code. You know all this stuff. So that's like 10,000 hours of doing this, so you can encounter everything and learn and understand all these different things that all come together to make what you would call a successful company. So based on this so-called 10,000 hours of knowledge, you have these people who will come out and market, right? And they'll get all this money for people buying a program. $200 for this program. We do this. This is $1,000 value, but we're gonna give it to you for $100, right? But people don't know that these people spent the last 10 years doing what they've done to be able to show you that's why they're a millionaire, or that's why this thing worked, because now they've exhausted that. That's exhausted. Anybody coming into it now is saturated on its way out. You know what I mean? And then now they're selling what? All this information that we're talking about right now. Same thing with us. By the time everybody comes in, and if we've been here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, even 10 years, right? And then finally the floodgates open because it's going to be a mandate. Everything's gonna be moving technologically. It's gonna be a mandate to everybody, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make it possible for everybody that they want to be on it. But by the time that happens, you can just look at yourself as a pioneer, like you said, a pioneer, right? And your worlds are gonna be built. By that time, you would have figured out how to integrate yourself into this and make this now work for you. You would have figured it out by now. And they're going to be looking at you like you just doing it, not knowing what it took to do that. And they won't have a chance in hell at coming in and even getting established, because you're already there. You're already doing it, you're already established, and they're already coming to you. So to try to come in later on and reproduce something, only thing they can do is try to do a copy, but copy isn't authentic, and authentic doesn't, if you're not authentic, then you don't have the same authority, or you don't have the same credibility, so you won't get the same respect. So therefore, we have to look at it as typically as any investor would. Investors say, you have to take risk if you ever want to have an opportunity or a chance at becoming rich. It's a risk involved. Not taking blind risk, but it is a risk. And we're the ones who will be considered investors, because we're putting sweat equity into something, because they open the floodgates to it. They just laid it out for us. Okay, if you can come in, spend time, and learn this, you can do this. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we've done. So as far as getting people in, she said it perfectly. Just keep putting your stuff together, master your stuff, perfect your stuff, and by the time it happens, you're gonna be dying trying to come in. Matter of fact, trying to get down with you.
Exactly.
Can you give me a job? Your cousins and everybody, your family want you to give a meta job.
How do I get on?
Right.
They gonna want a meta job.
That's
You
right.
should be able to give me a job.
Yeah,
Sure.
you know, say, look, where do I put the application in? Do I need one of them headsets? Like, yes and
That's
yes.
right.
But yeah, I 100% agree, man. Like there's so many ways that we can get people in here, and again, this is the future, and that's for anybody listening. You don't have a headset on, or you don't have a headset currently. I advise you to kind of look into it. I'm not saying go out and buy a headset right now if you don't have the funds or anything like that to do it. But yes, definitely look into it because this is the future. It determines, it's up to you when you get here because you'll be here. But it determines, like, do you want to come now or do you want to come later? And some people are just going to come later, and I get that. But for everybody else, like, I mean, if you're curious even a little bit, this is most likely the spot for you. Just letting you know. Um, yeah, I mean, we welcome everyone here with open arms. It's a big community. It's a loving community and a caring community. Now, there are, of course, your bad apples everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. You can go to the nicest state in the world or the nicest country in the world, and there will still be a bad neighborhood that someone's going to say, "Yeah, you don't want to go down that street, or you don't want to go in that area because there's always." So it doesn't matter. Like every space, including the metaverse, will have those bad apples, bad people in this space ruin what you think of it, because I can tell you right now, those few people, that 15-minute experience is nothing in comparison to the hours and hours of fun and enjoyment, and relationships that you'll build, and the connections you'll make in this place. Like those few minutes of whatever trolling that person is doing is not worth leaving this whole platform. And I say that to anybody who's ever been discouraged or have ran into somebody who's just being, just for less worse, an asshole, like, and you're gonna run into those people. They're here. But for the most part, we have plenty of ways to just leave that. You can block them, you can go in a safe mode and then leave that world. There's so many different things you can do. Continue having fun. Don't let one person ruin your fun. Block them and keep moving. Enjoy yourself. Um, but yeah, but with that being said, continue to, try to get somebody in here. If you're in the space already, how can you get someone in here? In the comment section below, definitely let us know. Have you brought anybody in this space, and what are you doing to get people into this space? If that's something you're trying to do, because I believe it's crucial, to the longevity and existence of this, over time, is for us to continue to keep bringing people in here, and even the people who don't like it right now, I'll give it doing a show back up, like, hey, so about that, you're still in that thing. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this set on your head today, like, so I can show you what I'm talking about. Like, and I want to show you why I'm still here months later when you thought I'd probably put this thing down. Let me show you the reason. And sometimes it's just showing them your dedication to it gets them curious. Like, man, I see you in this thing all the time. Like, I just gotta hop in here real quick. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And that's really it. But finding what they like, honestly, I feel, is the first door to open for anybody who doesn't know what this is. Find what they like and open that door first. They like to golf, get the top golf game or whatever, and then get in here and play, what I'm saying, play top golf with them. They like baseball or basketball. They got basketball games, especially when it comes to sport. I know a lot of people love sports, and I feel like that's one of the first things to kind of set them on to, whether they like to watch sports or play sports. Bring them in for those first. And anything else. You like shooting guns, man. I know you like shooting games. I got this game called Contractors or Population One or whatever. So just there's so many different things in here that you can bring them in to kind of get their feet wet, and that's really what it comes down to: how to get their feet wet before we, give them the nosedive. So,
and you know what, and that's what I found out, which is, to me, a person like what I think is disappointing to me. It's disappointing to me that you can show people. I mean, well, you can. One of the surefoot way I always thought was, if you can show someone something that they need, right? It's because things a need. If you need something, here's an opportunity to get you to what you need, right? That ain't working. They're now just what they want. And they, what I'm saying? Like you said, get them in here and get them over there and entertain them. You know what I'm saying? Let them entertain themselves, and then they come in here and entertain themselves. And after a while, they may meet somebody, and then they may start, moving in a more business or productive way, or more, successful ventures. But yeah, because I was in here telling people about I was telling them what they need. You need this, okay? You trying to do this, okay? You need to do this. Oh, you don't understand that? Oh, okay. That hasn't been working for me.
Yeah. And and truly coming back from that other end, because people feel, when they're getting what they want, as we were just saying, that want, once you get that want, then it's like, then you feel that energized, like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, man, I didn't even know, like, man, I've never, I've always wanted to do something like this. I've always wanted to play something like this. I've always wanted to have an experience like this. And once you get that one out the way, then I feel like that's what leads to the door to the needs, the necessities, things that can make them money, things that can, get them monetized and other things like this. Like, cause I feel like you can paint that picture once they're enjoying themselves. Because a lot of times, it's like, as soon as you say something that can help somebody, and I don't know why we live in this day and age, you're like, help, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? You say, like, my ears perk up when I hear something that can help me, something that can financially uplift me or climb that ladder, anything that's going to put me at my next level, financially, mentally, spiritually, physically, all of it. Like, no matter what, I'm always looking to continue to climb up that level. Now, again, it's not to say if you're happy where you are that's the bad thing. I'm just the kind of person that I'm always wanting to continue to push that to get greater, as self, everybody around me, my loved ones, no matter what, I want to push everybody I love and care about to their full potential. And even when we're at their full potential, I want us to look for something else to climb up that ladder to grab. My ladder is infinite. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's no time where I'll go, I'm gonna stand here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a continuous climb. And I feel like if that mentality will continue to keep people pushing and going and moving, and especially in this space and any place else in life.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's definitely been a very good talk with you guys. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say on these topics before we start closing it out here?
No, thanks for inviting me. Let me come sit on the panel tonight.
Thank you.
It was
no,
late night. I normally retire late nights, but I was still out. You hit me when I was out. We was running around, and and these are good topics, because these are the topics like I've been really trying to keep alive.
Most definitely.
These topics right here, we need to make sure people come in here because we're vested. So we need to make sure people come in here. If Horizon or Meta is not putting any kind of capital, they need to bring those people in. But like I said, they have their own agenda. They know what they're doing, how they're gonna do it. So I'm not really tripping. But
but the community is strong as well. We have a lot of power to get more people in here.
And
it's
we
a lot
can
of
do
us.
it a certain way, though. We can do it a certain way now. I'm not gonna be saying, "Hey, come in here and watch this. I'm gonna show you something," because to me, I feel that I do a lot. I go a lot further doing it if I was to do an organization. I mean, if I personally want to take on that, but I can easily take someone who don't have anything to do. They stuck out here in society, and I can be their mentor. Like, look, I'm gonna do something for you. You're gonna sign this contract, and we're gonna do this, that, and the third. I'm gonna set this business up for you. I'm gonna help you go from zero to 100, and you're gonna be having a big organization, bringing people into the virtual world. But to do that, though, those people got to be signed up to my Discord. Make it work for me.
Yes, exactly. See, and it's a full circle, and that's the idea. Like, anything that you do, you allow it to come back full circle, so that way everyone benefits at the end. And that's the idea. Now, and it's different when you're helping somebody in need. Like, there's something here that someone is needing, and you're helping a person in need. But when it comes to just planting a seed, the idea is once you plant a seed, that the tree grows and you're able to still bear the fruits of the labor. So, for everything that you plant, your objective is for it to come back. It's a full circle. So, I like that. I like that whole concept and that way that we can, continue to grow this space. I love it. And I think that's what we all should really be on. You know what I mean? Like, because we've seen what happened in other spaces, and this place can easily go away if we don't keep it alive. And this is the best place this is the best place in the metaverse. Don't let nobody tell you different. There's other places out there, but this is the best place in the metaverse. But yeah, there's other things you can do in here. Like, there's games, there's other apps. And yes, you can have all kinds of different fun. But when it comes to a real human connection and a good community, I feel like this is the best place you can go. HorizonWorlds, hands down. But yeah. But with that being said, thank you all for listening, joining in
Yes.
to the Don't Mess Around podcast. We will be back again, of course, with more. We may or may not have the same people sitting in these chairs. We are always happy to have you guys, of course. Thank you so much
Yes, thank
for
you.
joining us today. It was an awesome conversation. Definitely loved it. I love the new setup. I love having, even more people here for us to kind of just have a longer, just a more in-depth conversation with. I think this is awesome. So forward to having you guys back on here. And again, I look forward to everyone who's tuning in. And again, write in the comment section down below how you enjoyed today's show. If there's specific topics you guys want to talk about, put that in the comment section down below as well. And then I'll read those. And we can definitely, add things like that to the list of things that we can discuss. But yeah, again, with that being said, have a fantastic night and we will see you guys next time.
All right.
Yes, good night.